This is going to be Maradon, Earthsong Falls as Protection Paladin. What does this Tauren have on his back? That looks weird. Alright, so I'm used to being a monk here where I can roll off and get a huge, or chi torpedo off or whatever, and get a huge burst of speed. Sadly, Divine Steed doesn't work quite that way. Because yeah, roll or chi torpedo just keeps its speed if you fall off a ledge until you land on something. Anyway, yeah, so, right, Anikal, Protection Paladin, this place. Looks kind of confusing when you're not the leader, but once I actually routed this and played it as the leader, it's a whole lot more fun. That's the case with a lot of these... Well, is this a maze-like dungeon? It has dead ends and stuff, yeah, sure. Yeah, I could call this maze-like, even though a lot of it is linear. There are forks in the road, and you have to know which one to take. Alright, so seeing and hearing a Mistweaver. Familiar sights and sounds. Hunter's a little slow to jump off the waterfall, that's fine. Yeah, so just straight forward here. It doesn't really look like there's a way to go, but once you get close, you see that there is a way to go to the left here. Just kind of have to know. Protection Paladin is nice. I rarely have a bad time on this character. It's just nice and comfortable. Not much to worry about. I don't have any herbalism skills, so I can't pick that blind weed. I know where all my buttons are. They all just work. It's nice. I'm seeing some blade storming going on, I think, so it looks like we have an arms warrior. I haven't paid attention to who's what here. Oh yeah, silence happens in these encounters, so you have to watch out for periods when you won't be healed if your healer stood too close. Which, if they're a monk, they're going to want to. Anyway, yeah, so Mistweaver, Arms Warrior, what is that, a Shadow Priest? Yep, Shadow Priest and... Hunter, yeah, some sort of hunter. Still wondering what this, like, double pack of blue cylinders is on this monk's back. Oh, there's stuff behind me. I should be paying attention to this. Where did this Hydra come from? Okay, it took me a little while to notice that. This looks a little messy. I think we're okay, though. I have what appears to be an experienced healer. Yeah, right. My notes said that this group was pretty good. Everybody knew what to do. And things went pretty smoothly. And we just had a good time. Yeah, there was loot there. As, when I am the tank and need to be leading the group through places, I just kind of get used to sometimes leaving loot behind. If I don't find a moment to pick it up before, you know, everything's dead and I feel the need to move on, then I just don't pick it up. Anything important gets mailed to me by the postmaster, so I just miss out on, like, a little bit of money and random things that... Like, yeah, these things drop deep rock salt, which is a crafting reagent, but there aren't actually a lot of places you can get it. This is one of the best places for it, so, you know, if you're doing certain things with leatherworking, you really do need deep rock salt, but I already had enough. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, stuff like that is what I would miss out on if I didn't stop to loot. It used to be... Looting has changed a lot. It used to be, for one thing, the postmaster wouldn't send you important items if you didn't loot them. For another, loot was not personal, so just like if an enemy drops an item, then you get this thing that pops up where you can specify whether you need the item or if you would just like to have it. So need and greed were the two options. And yeah, there were all these, like, politics about when it's appropriate to actually click the need button and when it's not. And oh man, if you ever click it when the rest of the party decides you don't need the thing you're asking for, then you're gonna hear about it. But like all that drama is removed now because loot is personal, just automatically goes to you. It can be traded, but it first goes into your inventory, so there's no pressure to like be sure you press the right button for whether you actually need this thing or not. Right, so the other big thing that changed with looting is you used to have to loot everything individually. Now you just click on something that's in the general area of other things you killed, and it loots everything all at once. It just gathers it all together in a single action. It's great. It's a huge time saver. Very, very good change. This does occasionally lead me to... Here's a boss, by the way. Landslide. Go up that particular hill. Don't take the right that was before that hill, or you'll end up at a dead end. But do take the right after the bridge. Keep going, and you end up at Landslide. Then turn right back around. This dungeon has a flow to it. So, you know, once you get to Landslide, he's in a little loop-de-loop, so if you just sort of keep going forward, you'll end up going backwards. And the hallway you need to go down is just kind of right there. So it makes sense. Once I've routed it out, it all does make a whole lot of sense. There's the route. I traced it out. Anyway, yeah. So, with area looting, I had a life cocoon. That's nice. Every once in a while, if I see something that's dropped loot in a place behind me that I don't want to walk back to, if I kill something up ahead that's within the area looting range, then I can loot that and not have to go back. It'll automatically get the one that's back there. So every once in a while I can manipulate something like that, and it's really satisfying and it works. But yeah, sometimes I just don't bother. Alright, so yeah, turn around, back the way we came. This is just a hallway, assuming you don't try to jump off. Some people do try to jump off here. I don't know why. You really don't need to, and it doesn't benefit you in any way as far as I can tell. I don't know, people for some reason like to try and do fancy skips that just, I feel like, make a mess more often than they save any time. So yeah, I don't like to do skips, I don't like to jump off things. Just follow the prescribed path, even if it takes, 2.5 seconds longer. That's 2.5 seconds of reliable travel, rather than, 0 to negative infinity seconds from a botched skip, and everybody dying from it. I talked about this in Lower Blackrock Spire, like it's especially egregious there, but, It's good to know about the skips in case people with you insist on doing them, or you're not the group leader and you just have to follow somebody, but I don't encourage doing them myself. Alright, yeah, so this just flows back here. The bridge we came across is back into the left. So we could have turned left here and skipped Landslide. He's not listed as optional. Although another optional boss we'll be fighting in here is not listed as optional, so I don't know. Huh. So only 2 bosses listed here. I always, for some reason, expect this to be one of the longer Wings of Maraudon, but it just isn't. This is actually a tiny little dungeon when it's sliced up this way. It just feels like it takes forever to get to Landslide in the first place. But once you do, Princess Thorodress is not far behind. That dude's way over there, not near anything. Really, no reason to go over there. These two, however, are directly in the way. I wonder if you could go to, like, the extreme left or right edge and fight only one of them, or if they would both notice you there. Never really tried to get just one and not the other. Again, skips, unnecessary. The dude way over there is so out of the way that I don't consider it a skip to not fight him, but, If there's somebody on the way who is likely to get into combat with you, then I'll usually just fight it, not try too hard to avoid it. These guys are missing some geometry around their midsection. If you look, they're just like... the bottom of their butts are just not filled in with polygons. Totally transparent. So I'm looking down there. There's a crocolisk named Rotgrip down there. You can fight after Princess Therodress, but I don't see people do it very often. I'm going to try and see if the group sticks around for it. Yeah, look at all those missing crotch polygons. You can just see right through it and it doesn't look good. It's weird. Just like a weird oversight. Don't think these models have changed since the very inception of this video game. They're exactly the same as they've ever been. Alright, Princess Therodress. A little bit of an annoying boss just because of her pushback effect, and oh yeah, annoying for a tank too. I need to be ready with taunts here. I wonder if I was thinking of this ahead of time. I just noticed she has 3 faces. Never really looked at her head very closely before. I knew it looked weird, yeah, this effect. Super obnoxious for any kind of caster. Then she fears, then she decides to target somebody else for a while, doesn't she? Yep. Shadow Priest gets it. I was kinda semi-ready with my taunt button. Now I know what to expect. And the second time I should be on it. Three faces, 4 arms. Spikes in the back. Huh. Weird. I just never really looked at this boss. Like, I knew the general shape of her, I knew what she did, but just never paid attention to the character model before. Annika, why do you have to run all the way over there? Ah. Can't control fear. Character just picks a direction, any direction, and runs in that direction until the effect wears off. So that's done. I'm running off immediately toward Rot Grip. Kind of like giving people a hint. Hey, there's another thing to do here. If anybody watches me and follows behind. Priest says thanks. Somebody left the group. Who was that? The arms warrior named Fury? Okay. Yeah, so target macro, super handy for finding anything at all. I wanted to know where Rutger was, because he kind of swims around in this pool of water. And everybody else has caught on with what we're doing, and has come on down to see the Crocolisk. I seem to have remembered I had Light of the Protector there. I wasn't really using it all dungeon. I have an expert healer. I didn't really need it, but you know, can help take the pressure off. Oh, consecration in midair there did not seem to apply to that thing. So maybe it does actually need to be on the ground too. I thought it just didn't show if you managed to do it like up above the bottom of the water or in the air or something. But it looks like it might not even just work at all. Alright, so Rot Grip. Don't think there's anything really special about him. He's just a dude down here that you can fight. But you know, optional bosses are fun. In a situation like this, I always try to kill the non-boss enemy first, unless they have like around the same amount of health or the boss is almost dead or something. But yeah, just less damage coming in makes more sense, and aiming with the one with the smaller health bar first just seems sensible. I can only partially make that decision myself since tanks don't do nearly as much, well, they do like 3/4 as much damage as a damage dealer, somewhere around there. 2/3? Probably more than 2/3. Yeah. So like my lone damage contribution is not the majority of the group. Not the, but if anybody is targeting me and pressing the assist key, they'll see which thing I want to focus on. That's what I do when I'm playing as a damage dealer or healer who wants to deal damage with a tank, but I don't know how many other players bother to do that. It's a useful tool. Use your assist button. It'll help you. Alright, and that's Rod Grip. That was fun. I cheer. Alright. Good run on Earthsong Falls. See you next time.